Hello Nigeria, welcome to Newsline. We are getting close to the middle of May and the calendar is way bigger than the 31 days therein. We'll let you understand why this month is not just run-of-the-mill. Now, killing many birds with one stone is a childish plot to say the least. But what say you about an antidote that counters all problems? Where else but in Lagos? Talking about the Center of Excellence, we will go behind the Owambe of this cosmopolitan setting to drag out the stark realities of life in the mega city, while also taking our time to examine an annoying practice that has become part and parcel of the Nigerian lifestyle. Newsline will also keep you entertained with a feature on that genre of music many consider too abstract and therefore meant for very civilized ears only. Are they right? And along those lines, we'll lay out some Chinese flavor of cultural dimensions for your pleasure. And there's a cursory look at the nature behind crime and criminality. Watch, with the police bringing a case to our notice, the force needs your assistance to solve a mystery. My name is Becky Madujemu. Rhoda Obo in Abuja takes it from here with the news. You go, girl.
Thank you, Becky. Indeed, it's a loaded package tonight on Newsline. Can't wait for that. Hello there, a warm welcome, and as always, it's good to have you join us here on the news desk. We'll begin with a church service where President Goodluck Jonathan says he'll continue to serve the country as he expresses profound gratitude to Nigerians for allowing him serve the country while he bows out of office come May 29th. The president gave his words at the Thanksgiving and farewell service in his honor, and the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan. State House correspondent Shegun Lawale was at the Cathedral Church of the Advent Life Camp Abuja, venue of the church service.
The Cathedral Church of the Advent, Abuja, was filled to its capacity as people of God from far and wide came to appreciate God's kindness in the life of President Jonathan and the First Lady as the church bid them farewell. The Thanksgiving service, presided over by the Primate All Nigeria Anglican Communion, was emotion-laden as the choir rendered various songs, including a special rendition by the youth choir from Bayelsa State. The president took the first lesson, while the First Lady took the second lesson at the service. And as the church presented the first family farewell gifts for the sacrifice made in saving lives of Nigerians, encomiums also poured in for the man said to have redefined politics and democracy in Nigeria.
Mr. President, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord protect you. May the Lord lift you up again in other places, because you are now a hero for Africa. As you thank God today, we also celebrate the fact that you are coming out with Mama Peace and Mama Nigeria alive. You have broken the jinx of this thing we don't understand, whether it is a presidential mortality syndrome in Asofila. You have broken that jinx.
The sermon by the Primate All Nigeria Anglican Communion, the Most Reverend Nicholas Oko, gave many reasons why President Jonathan needed to give thanks to God.
You showed that you are a state builder and not a destroyer. And from the biblical perspective, you've made yourself a child of God. Because blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God.
President Jonathan recounted the goodness of God in his life and indeed the privileges he enjoyed from his secondary school days till this moment.
Quite happy. For me, when I look at the picture of my life, I'm ending up as the president of this country. I said that, look, if soldiers and police officers that have not received 0.5% of the benefits I've received from the state can lay their life for this country, I should do anything for the interests of Nigeria, including paying the supreme price.
So we meet again, so will be sent by the church. In about a couple of weeks from now, President Jonathan will bow out finally from office. And this day, the church is bidding him farewell into the future. From the Cathedral Church of the Advent, Life Camp Gwarinpa Abuja, Shegulawole, NTA News.
Meanwhile, mothers are being advised to be proactive in their God-given roles as nation builders. This was a central message in all the churches visited in Abuja. Correspondent Rotimi Oluwagbemi's report is here presented.
It was a moment of celebration as members of Rema Chapel, Abuja, marked Mother's Day. Mothers were urged to depend on God in any situation. Women Fellowship Coordinator Olufunke Malomo enjoyed women to be positive in their thinking and never limit their ability to achieve greatness.
As women, we should begin to dream dreams, think large, and trust God to achieve all that we think of, because
we enjoin mothers to do the best. God will always give us the strength.
The life God had given to each and every one of them, they should use it to impact and bring up the new and the next generation.
Similarly, Foursquare Church at Soko marked Mother's Day, charged to mothers to love one another. The guest speaker, Upiaga, described a mother as a great teacher and a troubleshooter. She said without the man, there will be no mother, and urged mothers to cherish their husbands. Some members speak on the day.
A real gem is solid, so mother should be solid. A mother should be solid in her home. That is, she must be a homemaker.
The mother is the center of a home, because once a mother is there, you see things moving on well.
Women have no choice but to give thanks unto God for great things and mighty that He has done for us in Nigeria.
Also, as part of activities to round up this year's World Road Safety Week, members of the Federal Road Safety Corps held a Thanksgiving service at St. Matthias Anglican Church, Wuse, with a plea for government to give child safety a chance in their program.
Also seek the support of media and also all leaders and parents to ensure that children are protected on the road.
Nigeria's President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari says developing Nigeria's agricultural and mining sector is the fastest means of providing jobs for unemployed Nigerians. The President-elect made the remark when he hosted a delegation of members of the Northern Elders and Arewa Consultative Forum. Correspondent Ismail Musa covered the event.
The President-elect noted that insecurity, the dwindling nature of the nation's economy, corruption and high rate of unemployment are the major issues affecting Nigeria's socio-economic development.
The fact that more than 65% of Nigerian population are youth. And most of them, whether they are in school or not, they are unemployed. This is the biggest threat that people don't see. So security, getting job positions, putting the infrastructure right, especially now. But the economy, the employment, quickly comes down to agriculture and mining.
The leader of the delegation and the chairman of the Northern Elders Forum, Mitama Sule, while appealing to the President-elect to be fair to all, described his victory as the long-awaited peaceful revolution.
When you are a military leader, you instill discipline into our society. You raise the moral tone of our society. You fought corruption, and you gave Nigeria a sense of direction. I am sure you will not compromise your principle, but you will do it with justice and wisdom and diplomacy.
In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Women under the auspices of the Northeast Women Forum are appealing for the reopening of the Maiduguri International Airport, which was closed down due to the challenge of insecurity. The group made the call at a meeting in Abuja. Correspondent Aishatu Zango Abdullahi has details.
Women from from the northeastern states resident in Abuja under the auspices of the Northeast Women Forum are strategizing on how best to engage the incoming administration of Muhammadu Buhari on how best to tackle some of the challenges faced by people of that geopolitical zone as a result of insurgent activities.
We have had instances where people represent the Northeast and those intervention funds did not get to the actual affected people.
When you view the aerial videos of the attacks in Zambisa forest, you see that a lot of the Boko Haram have just dispersed. There are reports, that the Boko Haram people are gathering along the borders. If the new government does not really put its act together quickly, to tackle the insurgency, that they will spend valuable time, fighting the insurgents.
Beyond the issues of rebuilding cities and villages is that of Nigerians living as refugees in Chad, Cameroon, and Niger Republic.
They need to be occupied with something so that they can live a meaningful life.
My worries now is about the 200 women from Zambisa that are pregnant. Those women, girls, we want the government to accommodate them and then fix them on a salary.
The group will soon present its position to the president-elect. A 6-man committee was inaugurated to come up with a proposal for onward submission to the president-elect. In Abuja, Aishatu Zangwa Abdullahi, NTA News.
Now, Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says President Goodluck Jonathan is leaving behind legacies that will stand the test of time in the areas of infrastructural development and strong institutions to drive sustainable economic growth. The Minister of Finance, who also spoke on the fuel scarcity, stated this during a media chat in Abuja. Finance and Economy correspondent Cliff Ayoze reports.
The Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, said Nigerians will celebrate President Jonathan's legacies with time. She pointed to the achievements in the areas of agriculture, communication technology, infrastructure development to institutions that will drive growth.
The Minister of Agriculture achieved a great deal in the agriculture sector, that there's food in the country. And because of that, inflation is not, has remained in single digits. You cannot take it away from the fact that the Minister of Communications Technology, for instance, Mobile, has done a lot. A way that we've expanded our cement production to a capacity of 28 million metric tons, and we have access to export. You cannot take it away that there are 3,900 young people call you winners today.
On fuel scarcity, the minister said oil marketers demand for another 200 billion naira payment after receiving over 500 billion naira from December 2014 to May 2015. It's only bent on suffering Nigerians unnecessarily.
We should stop making Nigerians suffer. We are very grateful to some of them who are selling, because we must commend them. Some of the marketers are selling in their stations. But
she also stated that the federal government is not responsible for non-payment of salaries by some state governors. While fall in oil prices present some challenges, the minister assured Nigerians that President Jonathan's administration will continue to live up to its responsibility to the people till May 29th. In Abuja, Cliff Ayoze, NTA News.
Now talking education, the Afe Babalola University at Ado-Ekiti has unveiled its multi-million-dollar College of Engineering facilities to the Nigerian Society of Engineers. President of the society recommended that the templates and standards of the university should be adopted by others. Institutions worldwide. Michael Olale has details.
The quest to raise the bar of tertiary education is ongoing at the Afe Babalola University, where one of the largest colleges of engineering in Africa is aggressively upgrading for global competitiveness. The NSC team basically finding it difficult to ignore the glittering of the diamond which the institution represents to our facilities at various departments and units. The president of the NSC appealed to the management to explore the equipment for greater industrial and commercial benefits.
This is a template that NSC are coming to promote and will
enjoy all the universities to come and see.
Neat indices favoring the chunk of investments channeled towards returning the lost glory of tertiary education in Nigeria, Are Afe Babalola instead of continuous upgrading in the interest of national prosperity.
This is the best thing that can happen to education in this country. And their conclusion corroborates what others have said about this university and about this program.
The Nigerian Society of Engineers tour of facilities at the institution was at the instance of Korea report on accreditation in March in Ado-Ekiti. Michael Ale, NTA News.
Now, voters in Britain have spoken through their ballots. The Conservatives have won the general elections with majority, and David Cameron remains at number 10 Downing Street. What does these elections that had the largest turnout of young people in decades mean for Britain? And any lesson for Nigeria? Correspondent Bilkisu Abdurazak Odoye sampled the views of UK residents.
The exit poll had predicted a neck-and-neck finish for the Conservative and Labour parties. The outcome, though, fell far short for the Labour Party as the Tories succeeded in achieving a majority win to form the next government. What does the outcome of this election mean?
Prior to the election, people were suffering. Yes, it's true, Conservatives were creating jobs, the economy was getting better, but people were getting poorer. People were working so hard, they couldn't afford to pay their rent, they couldn't afford to look after their family. I'm afraid, we're going to be experiencing another 5 years of agony.
This means is that after 5 years, the electorate can now judge David Cameron on his electoral promises, whether he was able to deliver. Now, there is no excuse, there's no coalition government.
This time, I think they will do great work.
The election night was a brutal one for the Liberal Democrats, United Kingdom Independent Party UKIP, and Labour. But for the Scottish National Party SNP, by winning 56 out of its 59 parliamentary seats, and the Conservatives especially, that has a majority, David Cameron describes it as the sweetest victory ever. Nigeria's 2015 general elections was adjudged creditably fair. However, are there lessons that the country can learn from the UK's electoral process?
I met my Labour counterpart in front of Woolwich Mosque, campaigning together, mutually, happily. That will never happen in Nigeria without resorting to violence and, abuse and intimidation.
The PVC and the card readers and all of that, I think, we are evolving our own system as well, which is a good thing. And the election in Nigeria was commended, as a very, very successful one, given the age of our democracy in the country.
Interesting months and years lie ahead for the House of Commons with a strong showing of the SNP. And of course, Nicola Sturgeon is definitely one to watch. How this plays out in the future is one that everyone is keen to see. And London, Bilkisu Abdurazak Odoye, NTA News.
Now talking sports, Warri Wolves and the highest number of goals and 3 points with a 4-1 defeat of Nasarawa United in Week 8 of Nigeria's Professional Football League. Eimba and Giwa, Lobi and El Kanemi and Oka United and Wiki all played goalless. Meanwhile, the 2014-2015 nationwide season has kicked off, as Amanzi Marcus reports.
The 2014-2015 season of the Nigeria Nationwide League kicked off on Thursday at the Pillar Stadium in Kano. In the opening match, Shekaru Babes in white over blue defeated Wudil United Football Club, also of Sabongari, Kano, by 2-1.
That is the goal for Shekaru Babes, the opening goal.
Chairman of the Nigeria Nationwide League, Ahmed Kawu, expressed satisfaction with the quality of the game. Stakeholders say the fair officiating witnessed in the opening match should be the order in the remaining matches to prevent a situation where home teams must always win at home. All the 40 teams in the Nigeria Nationwide League Division 1 are divided into 8 groups of 5 teams each, and group winners qualify to play in the Nigeria National League Limited. As part of preparations for on Saturday, the 2-kilometer kilometers exercise took participants from the Millennium Park to the Irgu Square, culminating in light workouts. Minister of State 1 for Foreign Affairs Nicholas Ada, who led the exercise, encouraged participants to embrace the spirit of healthy competition.
Sports have long been idealized as a way to heal wounds, mend fences, and create an environment that rises above differences among cultures and nations.
In athletics,
if I don't drop my pepper, I could just enter one way like.
No. Log on to www.moun.
That's you have talked chickens then, you have talked workers then, you have talked the inauguration May 29.
They are right, but that is not all. I'll do an overview. From start to finish, the days seem fully booked. It all begins on the first day, which is Workers' Day, and also a holiday, at least in Nigeria, with the labor force venting their grievances, making more demands, and reminding the authorities of promises made. The workers also get to chill with each other. Two days later, precisely the 3rd, with the prompting of UNESCO, the world turned its focus on members of the 4th estate of the realm. In Nigeria, the day was not uneventful. How can? With the apt theme, Let Journalism Thrive, my fellow pen pushers had quite a lot to say, flexing their muscles made more powerful by the freedom of information law. And just when you think other events are weeks ahead, look who shows up. WHO comes 2 days later with World Asthma Day. The title speaks for itself. Managing asthma in order to live longer was stressed by medical experts in many quarters. Look at that. In 5 days, we had 3 major international events. May 8, Red Cross societies across the world held workshops and seminars to examine the principles of volunteerism and humanity on Red Cross Day, while World Cultural Diversity Day is on the 21st. Now, fast forward to the 27th. The children will march out in their warm colors. Children's National Day is a holiday. For the kids alone, you, my co-adult, gets to work. Take note of that. Not to worry though, fate will make it up to you 2 days later. It's a Friday, and it's also a holiday. Yay! Big weekend, occasioned by the big one, Democracy Day. On that day, the world will be watching Nigeria, and Nigeria will be watching live TV. The handover ceremony on the 29th will be a showstopper. But the show is not over for the crowded month of May. Just like the first day, the last day has something to say for itself. Nicotine will get some good trashing on the 31st of May. To you, it may look like an anticlimax, but not to us at the NTA Lagos Network Center. You can be sure we will hammer on why you need to avoid active or passive smoking so you don't die young by your own effort. That's the size of May, a month to respect for its robust nature. Yes, May is indeed a special month. I know you appreciate all that info. Thank you. Now, Lagos truly is a land of opportunities, all kinds of opportunities. This perhaps explains why all shades and characters of people live and do business in Lagos. There are the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yes, and this really is what makes Lagos very vibrant and interesting. Our focus in this report is on a particular kind of advertisement that we have noticed pasted in many places around the city. It advertises quick fix assistance to all problems that an individual could be faced with. These include exam success, get rich quick, do as I say, and so on. NewsLine asked Musa Tolia to go find out how true these promises are and the people behind them. Armed with the contact address of the advertisement posters, Musa set out, and I am eager, as you are, to know what he found out.
Other promises made in the advertisement are success in examination, procurement of visa, success in business, relationship, and so on. Who can be the target customers? Obviously, impatient people who want quick solutions to their problems. As hard as I tried, I couldn't find anyone to admit ever patronizing the advertisers of these products. But these respondents who are aware of such advertisements say it is all a farce.
They're looking for a wife, they're looking for a husband or somebody who don't need quick money or something like that. So I think, and I believe people to patronize them.
Devilish, when you say Indian temple, those things, I can't believe God's word and believe in God's prosperity.
What can not be done, they will tell you it's easy. But if you now commit money there, it's just as if you are patronizing, you are putting your money into the lagoon.
Now, looking closely at the advertisement, I observed that the advertisers did not include any name other than that they can be found in one Indian Hindu temple or the other in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt.
You now see them, there's Indian temple without address because it looks really suspicious.
I therefore went in search of an Indian Hindu temple in Lagos. I couldn't find one, but I was introduced to a devotee and asked whether the advertisement is from them.
I am not very sure about the temple what you are referring to, but we definitely have few temples in which Indians go and pray.
Fascinated, I had to ask whether the Hindu faithful include in their prayer requests any of these items advertised for public patronage.
If somebody is trying to say that Hindu religion can offer that, he's just trying to make a fast buck, nothing else.
He, however, warns those who parade themselves as Hindu temple operators to desist from such acts.
But if I come across, I would like to know what are they trying to do and trying to defame my religion.
Having established from the devotee that the Hindus do not practice magic or carry out fetish practices in their temples, NewsLine sought the reaction of a Muslim and Christian cleric on what their religions say about such practices.
As believers, as Muslim, it is forbidden for Muslim to involve in any way. Either the person claims to be a soothsayer or patronizes soothsayer.
John chapter 14, God said, I'm the way, the truth, and the light. So no other place, just stick there. God does not allow us, or the word of God does not allow us to patronize anything beyond the word of God.
For the Muslim who engages in or patronizes the services of occultism, the cleric says there are dire consequences.
Allah will not accept his salawat, the day 5 telling prayer he prays, for 40 consecutive days. He will keep on praying. The person has moved out of Islam. The Tawhid has been lost. If Tawhid is lost, Islam is being lost.
Christianity also has no place for such.
You don't have to run here and there. God is not demanding anything. God demands a true heart of service, of worship.
Well, one thing is certain, as emphasized by the religious leaders, which is that there is no shortcuts to success as advertised in these posters. Anything they say achieved on the fast lane usually comes with dire consequences.
But they should leave it so that they can meet Almighty God in a very pleasant way.
Make up your mind. Don't let nobody cajole you that it's too late, God won't forgive you. There's nothing in life God cannot forgive.
What do you know? Quick fixes can lead to quick problems. Musa plans to visit the temple for a part 2 of that report, and just like you, we can't wait for the outcome. Moving on, Lagos means different things to different people. For some, it is a land of opportunities where gold and silver can be picked off the streets. For some others, it is a city of endless enjoyment. In order to remain in this city, therefore, many people do all kinds of jobs to survive, even when it's obvious they are making no headway. Now, we are asking, must you live in Lagos? It was with this question, I beg your pardon, at the back of Ken Egbeluge's mind that he reports on what some people do to survive in Lagos and whether it is worth the trouble.
Lagos, Nigeria's center of excellence, is currently rated the 17th most populated metropolitan area in the world and second in Africa by a United Nations report, a population of about 15 million people. Like every major city of the world, Lagos has its challenges. One of the toughest being how to manage the people and the ever-increasing congestion in the state by the government. That notwithstanding, Lagos remains a melting pot for all. Most people migrate to Lagos in search of greener pasture. More often than not, they come face to face with an array of problems they never envisaged.
I have my ND with me. The place we are submitting our CV there and there, so they will just tell us, they will call us back. So with a little amount I have, so I need to start something.
Everybody's working in Lagos, so they survive. You see people who just come and wash your cars and expect you to pay them, wash your clothes, expect you to pay them. So these are things what other people would have done other places without being made.
Lagos has more opportunities than other cities or other towns in Nigeria. Because in Lagos, let me give an example. Assuming you want to sell a sachet water that they call pure water, with 100 naira you can start business.
I hustle in Lagos, and anything that reaches me, and then I do it and survive.
This is Isaac. He came to Lagos with high hopes. After searching for a job for several years with no luck, he decided to become a scavenger. In addition to this, he disposes refuse in some neighborhoods for extra wages.
For this job, I am doing it. I reach 5 years. It's the work where I do to survive.
They pay your house rent, everything.
Yes.
Like Isaac, these respondents have their share of living in Lagos. When they migrated to Lagos, it was to live in a city whose sidewalks are paved in gold with milk and honey oozing from every nook and cranny. But that was not to be. For them now, any job within the law that will put food on their table is welcome. Their slogan is, "No food for a lazy man in Lagos."
Now business now they use survive. Because if they stay for us, now you say you no go survive now. If hungry go kill you now.
We do supply granite, sand and other things to survive. There is no way we can survive except we work. Nobody can sit at home and expect miracle. There's no miracle anywhere.
I'm very happy to do this job because I don't get another job where I go fit do am.
And for those who find it extremely hard living in Lagos, especially when they can never make ends meet, regardless of how hard they try, but particularly those with no means of livelihood, these respondents say there is only one way out of their predicament.
It means they have to leave Lagos and maybe look for another place.
If person no go fit dey for Lagos, he's supposed to go back, go where in village they make you go stay very well if the village dey okay for them.
They see that Lagos is not convenient for them any longer and they are not Lagosian. Instead of them disturbing us there, let them go to their village.
It's a lot of opportunities. But if you can't, you go back home. But the villages are not getting more difficult because there's nothing to do there.
Survival is the name of the game. However, there's always plan B. If Lagos is hard as steel, try another city. You never know what good is waiting elsewhere. Moving on, I doubt that there is any Nigerian who has not experienced what we'll talk about next, either as the victim or the culprit. That, of course, is as long as they have either organized events or attended any. The victim is usually the organizer of the event, while the culprit is the invited guest. Have you already guessed what this is all about? Well, just listen to Annie Daniels in this report to determine whether it is familiar.
It could be a birthday ceremony, a wedding ceremony, or even a naming ceremony. It could also be a grand reception by a corporate organization, a book launch, a product launch, or even an event that requires the gathering of people in this country. One behavior is common amongst Nigerians when it comes to attending events. I will give you a clue. The event is billed to start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. By 2 o'clock, it is yet to commence. This is because most of the guests have not arrived.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are sorry. We want you to wait because some guests are still coming to come and join us here. Thank you very much. God bless you.
The master of ceremony usually apologizes for the late start, appealing to guests already present to exercise a little more patience while they wait for the other guests to arrive.
Somebody a time, you believe that that's not what the person actually means. That maybe 2 hours later, that's when it starts.
People will relax at home, waiting for others to get there before they are there.
Nigerian time, they call it. Arriving late always to events cannot be part of Nigerian culture, or is it?
It is not our culture.
it is far from our culture. I don't think it was not even imported. So it was fabricated by Nigerians.
We adopted it. It shouldn't be part of our culture because that's not. It's not something decent.
Because arriving late to events is not cultural and tends to disorganize the arrangement of events. Organizers these days do not fail to include "No Nigerian time, please" on the invitation cards. But the trend still persists.
Most occasions, they like waiting for maybe their dignitaries, chairmen and co. So until those people come, they don't like starting, especially weddings. They believe those are the people who are going to give them money.
So some of them, deliberately, they will be decked for an occasion to showcase, their clothing, their shoes, their wares, especially the women.
They that do the event do not keep to time. That is why people that come believe we can come next time, we can come later.
What bearing does Nigerian time have on the society?
You are wasting some other people's time.
Is there any way out of it?
If they can stop African time, when you put time that this is what you want to do, even though it's 3 or 2 people you see, if you do the thing. So when it not came late, next time, I believe they will learn from there.
Until we all imbibe this culture of keeping to time, including the chairman and others, African time will continue to persist.
The Nigerian time syndrome is like the chicken and the egg puzzle. Which comes first? Who is to blame for the disregard to time? The organizer or the guest? You plan for 4 p.m. but tell your guests 1 p.m. They come at 4:30 p.m. because they are certain you actually meant 4 p.m. God help us. Former head of state General Abdulsalam Abubakar was in Katsina on a one-day working visit. His mission was to commission some projects that the governor of Katsina State, Ibrahim Shehu Shema, has successfully executed. Garuba Baraya Yusuf tells us that the former head of state was warmly received by the people of the state.
Visit of the former head of state General Abdulsalam Abubakar to the ancient city of Katsina is like a homecoming, as his hosts rolled out drums to welcome their long-standing brother. General Abdulsalam Abubakar was confronted with the task of commissioning of projects executed by Katsina State government under the able leadership of Governor Ibrahim Shehu Shema. Projects commissioned included 250-bed capacity orthopedic hospital named after Ibrahim Shehu Shema. The projects gladdened the heart of his visitor, who could not hide his joy for what he described as democratic dividends.
These edifices I have seen has touched and will continue to touch the lives of the people. I commend him and I congratulate him for a job well done.
Undoubtedly, therefore, it is going to assist in minimizing medical tourism of our citizens out of this country.
On his part, Governor Ibrahim Shehu Shema unveiled his reasons for constructing the hospital.
This is the first ever state-owned orthopedic transmission hospital with 250. Our administration is in the process of improving healthcare delivery in the state. Have taken giant steps.
The dust of the commissioning of the hospital is yet to settle when former head of state was invited to commission yet another gigantic edifice, the famous Karakanda Stadium situated in the heart of the ancient city of Hausa civilization. The 35 southern capacity stadium was constructed at a cost of about 4 billion naira. It has modern art facilities, football pitch, 35 southern parking space, 2 gymnasiums for male and female, equipped with state-of-the-art facilities.
Stay on the line while we'll take a commercial break. When we return, we'll reel out some corporate and social events.
Everybody hurts. Everybody walks along the lonely road sometimes. Let me take your hand, 'cause to me your happiness is just as good as mine. And you will be
Leadway Assurance, ensuring happiness since 1970.
Can your milk do this?
your milk do this? Mine can.
With Hollandia evaporated milk, your ice cream, custards, and variations of beverages taste pleasantly different. Hollandia evaporated milk. Life tastes different.
From the House of Chi.
Did you know with Hollandia evaporated milk, you get a whole lot more? You get 25% more milk than 170 grams. Go for more. Go for Hollandia evaporated milk, 215 grams pack. Hollandia evaporated milk, 25% more, same price.
House of Chi.
Welcome back. A new product has been introduced to Nigeria's financial market. Brainchild of Unified Payments, an international e-payment organization, this payment solution called Pay Attitude will make payment for goods and services very easy. Deji Idu, who was at the product launch in Lagos, reports that the technology does not require telecommunications network to function.
It looks so simple on arrival. Just a tag fixed to the back or front of your phone and you're good to go. Tap this tag with any compliant payment point and your transaction is approved without any fear of failure. That is Pay Attitude for you.
There is a virtual account that is carried in the electronic purse in that payment device, which of course means that transaction can be authorized offline and you don't then need to interact with the customer's account.
As long as you carry Pay Attitude, we can guarantee you that you have a very unique and a very, very functional payment solution in your hand that you can use at all times with no network failures issues.
This latest payment solution is of Unified Payments, fully developed in Nigeria for a global market.
Unified Payments was the first to introduce chip and pin products in Nigeria. We pioneered the EMV, which is the leading technology globally, and we are riding on this heritage to deliver this solution today, which again is chip and pin. So there's no question of fraud.
The only way you can catch up with the rest of the world is to leapfrog. This is doing exactly something even more than even the developed world has done. And I think it's an innovation that I commend for everybody.
The new product is developed in collaboration with leading Nigerian banks. It can be accessed in the branches of these banks, and the procedure very simple.
You just need to walk into your bank branch and request from your bank that you want to take Pay Attitude. And it's very unique because as you walk into your branch to take Pay Attitude, as you're walking out, you're actually walking out and you're ready to actually go and use it.
Who says Nigeria has not joined the global payment solution technology? Try Pay Attitude, smile, and be happy. So says Unified Payments.
It was not about business transactions when Unilever PLC, makers of Sunlight detergent and soap, threw its doors open to entertain loyal consumers of the products. The event was part of activities marking the 13 weeks of its radio drama series. It was also to appreciate consumers in the Southwest. Adebola Ogulano witnessed the event in Ibadan and now reports.
It was a night filled with fun and thrills for Sunlight Detergent customers who have followed the Alarambara radio drama series, which started early this year and will run till middle of May this year on selected radio stations across the Southwest region. The party was to take the customers away from business schedules and activities and to catch up with them in a relaxed atmosphere.
We're trying to re-emphasize the fact that Sunlight is good for our consumers' clothes. It washes well, it leaves a lasting fragrance.
Consumers' needs are always what we want to talk to with the brand.
Activities at the party included fashion parade by customers and dance competition. Nollywood actress Mosun Filani, who also featured in the radio drama series, graced the occasion.
It's a kind of soap that you enjoy using, either washing your linen, Ankara, Guinea, name it, any kind of fabric. It's a fabulous detergent to be reckoned with.
To the customers, Sunlight is a product to beat.
If they can improve on the volume of the gram to be better.
They should, especially this product now, the same, they should improve on the things.
The Sunlight brand promises to continue to bring smiles to the faces and homes of its customers by sustaining quality of the brand.
It is no longer news that the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria has a new leadership. The news, however, is that the capacity of the new leadership to pilot the affairs of the organization was put to the test when it hosted in Abuja the very first summit on digitization in Nigeria. The two-day event was crowned with the investiture of the new chairman of the organization. Anthony Forsen reports.
Of leadership as the chairman, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, Shola Omori, the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, left no one in doubt about his capacity to steer the affairs of the organization, coming from a platform that is the largest in Africa, the NTA. To demonstrate this will, Broadcasting Organization under the chairmanship of Shola Omori organized the first Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria Digitization Summit, which brought together key players in the industry across the African continent and beyond.
So the benefits to the user are they would have a cheap free-to-air platform with many channels, many more channels than they have at the moment. The benefit to broadcasters is it gives them a wider audience, so potentially there's 20 million homes in Nigeria.
They can even connect the box up to the internet. They can get a dongle, which can be the 3G mobile or Wi-Fi, and all of a sudden, on this, again, low-cost box, you can get Twitter, you can get Facebook, you can get video on demand, you can get all sorts of features from being online.
As elaborate as the summit was, so were presentations on the drive towards a successful digitization. Though quite a brainstorming session, the participants took time out to unwind when the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria's chairman was formally investitured by his predecessor.
My colleagues at the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria and my colleagues at NTA, I received this as the signal of authority on your behalf. That means now I have become what my people call Are Apashewa.
As sweet as it was, the bun cake was shared. Then it was followed by Let's Go Dancing. For Abubakar Jijiwa, there is always a memorable moment while he served as Bond's chairman for 10 years.
We have overcome the very serious dichotomy that existed between public broadcasters and private broadcasters. We all have a common destiny, we all have a common future, we are all in the same professional league, and therefore we must work extremely hard to between public and private broadcasters.
The Bond leadership is now well defined, and I'm glad that the DG of NTA has rightly assumed the position of chairman of Bond. This is very appropriate, and this is expected, and we expect him to show leadership. NTA is showing leadership now in Bond.
was the turn of a former director of programs at the NTA, Umaru Mahmood, to rejoice over his investment, which has matured. Yes, his daughter, Bilkisu, has matured into matrimony. She found a life partner in Ibrahim Adamu Tahil, a lieutenant in the Nigerian army. The wedding fatihah took place in Yola, Adamawa State, where friends and family of the couple converged to wish them well. Here are the highlights of the wedding as put together by Yusuf Jika.
It was a moment of joy, fulfillment and love for the families of former Executive Director of Programs of the Nigerian Television Authority, Alhaji Umar Mahmood, and that of Adamu Tahir, who joined their son and daughter to become one formidable family. The groom Ibrahim is a Kaduna indigene and a serving military personnel, while his lovely Bilkisu hails from Adamawa. Both agreed to stay together as husband and wife. Their memorable day came to reality when the Deputy Chief Imam, Dobeli Jumaat Mosque, Ustaz Ali Maman, presided over the Islamic rites of give and take by the representatives of the bride and groom, after which the sum of 50,000 naira was announced as dowry and prayer were later offered for a successful matrimonial home. The Imam admonished the couple to always stick to the words of Allah and the doctrines of Islam in whatever situations they may find themselves for a blessed family. A walima was also organized in honor of the bride, where family members, friends and well-wishers gathered to bid her farewell as she sets to start a new life. For the groom, who was visibly happy, rejoicing with friends and relatives, gave praise to Allah for showing him the historic day and thanked all those who graced the wedding ceremony.
Thanks to Almighty Allah and to each and every individual who in one way or another make this day a success.
As a friend and a brother, my advice to him is he should be patient to his wife.
I will advise her to be patient because marriage is all about patience with her husband.
The father of the bride and uncle of the groom, Alhaji Umar Mahmood and Abubakar Abari, advised the newly wedded couple to be faithful, stand on their moral upbringing, and desist from involving third party in their matrimonial affairs.
There's nothing that dialogue cannot solve. They must talk together and they must strive to being husband and wife and try to be friends. Once if you are friendly with your wife, you are friends with your wife, it makes the marriage more easy to handle.
Your couple all the best. Jazz music and cultural displays are part of what make up our next segment, but we will be needing your assistance to locate the family of a man who died several months ago and no one has turned up to claim his body. Stay on the line.
The Niger Delta Power Holding Company National Integrated Power Project has successfully completed and put to service a new 330, 132 and 33 kV Gobalada substation with high capacity associated infrastructure and network of transmission lines connecting Ajaokuta, and from the substation to Apo and Katampe as part of commitment addressing electricity demands of the FCT and contiguous communities of Kogi, Nasarawa and Niger States. Consequently, the management on behalf of the governing board heartily invites stakeholders to the official inauguration of the substation by our chairman, His Excellency Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambo, on behalf of President Goodluck Jonathan. Date, tomorrow, Monday 11th May 2015. Time, 4 p.m. Venue, Gogolada Substation, Gogolada Area Council, FCT. You are welcome. Announcer, Management.
G Happy Hour.
burst of refreshment.
House of Chi.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Authentication service. We could help us know whether medicine is fake or not before we pay. As I scratch this to maybe like the charge card, so send the pin to 38353 free of charge. I will call the text message to confirm. Okay, original, true. Just like that, we confirm whether medicine is fake or not. It's not fair. Now when you say that was all, make you help not and spread the story from the way that. Madam, come and take the money. Now, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, they bring on this message.
Thanks for staying on the line. It was to give jazz music the prestige it deserves that a remarkable number of jazz artists at home and abroad converged on Lagos to thrill jazz music lovers with that genre of music said to be for the mature minds. It was International Jazz Day, and Lagos State usually organizes an international festival to mark the day. It was a combination of lights, cameras, guitars, drums, flutes, pianos, trumpets and saxophones that thrilled the audience. Let's see the highlights as captured by Newsline.
Jazz melodies there from veteran jazz musician Jimmy Sholanke and his crew. Other veterans including T-Mark, Ade, Batik, Prince Eji Oyewole and the Show Vibrator, among others, displayed their prowess in this genre of music. Not less than 100 local and international jazz musicians featured at the festival, which lasted 3 days. They thrilled the audience not only with contemporary jazz music, but also took them down memory lane with some oldies.
Hold my hands in the
Rashid Lombard, a renowned jazz player from South Africa, was the guest artist.
It's great, and therefore it's important that first point of call is government to events. I saw the wealth of artists last night. Where are we? Of world standard. This world standard, you know. And I think through festivals we can put our country and our musicians on the world map.
Some jazz enthusiasts, after listening to the tunes of guitars and songs, had this to say.
It's a beautiful night, and the turnout is very encouraging, and the musicians, the guys are really entertaining us.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. I've been dancing like since, but then
The government of Lagos State initiated the festival as part of its efforts to create awareness on the need to foster international dialogue, as explained by the festival's director, Ayola Shadari.
We're on course to establishing Lagos on the global jazz circuit, which is very important. And that gives the ability to kind of like boost tourism, because Lagos is a destination.
That was nice. I do hope you enjoyed the jazzy feel of that report. Still talking entertainment, when the most densely populated country in Africa meets with the most populated country in Asia, a cultural fiesta is a result, a potpourri of cultural exchange. This was what happened when the Embassy of the People's Republic of China teamed up with Nigeria's National Council for Arts and Culture to stage a night of cultural entertainment in Abuja. Cecil Egbele, who had a relaxing evening just watching the show, packaged the highlights for us to see.
Nigeria and China has gone far beyond economic, trade and investment. Culture has indeed proved to be a strong unifying factor.
Bringing out the best of both worlds, it was a loaded lineup from the Chinese square dance, the Little Apple, and the slow martial art performance, Tai Chi. There were several collaborated performances between artists from both countries, and of course, this created an interesting blend. The big one from the Nigerian side came in the form of a fashion show, where from the north, south, east and west, attires from the different cultures were paraded in the presence of guests ready to capture every moment.
On her shoulder is Iboru. The Idoma cloth, the red and black Ota Uche cloths. Their women and their men wear makeup. The very beautiful and expensive fabric known as the Aqua Ocha. The Edo of the south part of Nigeria, their favorite color is the color red. In her beaded walking stick and her beaded crown. The Efik lady, you cannot miss her long, beautiful gown. Their ceremonial costume is made of the hand-dyed indigo-colored cotton fabric.
Two performances that can never go wrong in such a collaboration are the Fulani dance of northern Nigeria and the Chinese fan dance. If you think that's the best the Chinese have to offer, then wait till you hear Zhang Wei, a Chinese by birth but a Nigerian at heart, who now bears the name Murtala, perform Zaka, a traditional Hausa song to the admiration of all.
That nations could bind together, support one another, and strengthen one another through this kind of cultural performances.
We encourage them
to create more and to have more innovations on these performances.
It is believed that the Chinese-Nigerian cultural entertainment will go a long way in strengthening ties of both nations.
Still keeping with international cultural dues, it was not a cultural event but trust Nigerians to seize any opportunity to flaunt any aspect of their cultural heritage. That was why it turned into the display of the culture of some Nigerians living in the United Kingdom. When the High Commissioner, Dr. Dalhatu Sariki Tafida, visited them, our correspondent in that country, Bilkisu Abdurazak Odoye, reports that it was actually a town hall meeting with the Nigerian community held in Newcastle upon Tyne, northeast of England. Let's see it.
MP Chi Onwora, of a Jordan mother and Awka Enugu State father, assured Dr. Dalhatu Sariki Tafida and Nigerians in Newcastle upon Tyne of her intent to forge a closer mutually beneficial relationship between Nigeria and Newcastle.
Nigeria is predicted to be the 6th biggest economy in the world by 2060. We need to be proud of that, and we need to work together to make sure that the Northeast is one of the partners of with Nigeria.
Dr. Dalhatu Sariki Tafida, who said President Goodluck Jonathan did creditably well in its transformation of the country, citing the improvement of the economy, commended the show of statesmanship between President Goodluck Jonathan and President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari, urging Nigerians abroad to shun acts capable of portraying the country in bad light as well as division.
We are setting a template for the other African countries to follow. We must, as a country with the largest number of educated people, we don't expect divisions outside.
The interactive event aimed at bringing government closer to diasporans in the United Kingdom featured Health Symposium with Dr. Gbenga Afolabi and Dr. Lisa Chimoba making presentations on international links between the Northumbria Health System and Federal Medical Center Abeokuta, maternal mental health, still a big challenge in Nigeria, as well as Shade Sangowawa on a vocation which assists Africans and Nigerian youths to appreciate their culture. Most of the diasporans in Newcastle upon Tyne, from various professional backgrounds, but mostly in the field of medicine, are proud of their roots and keen to give back to their community.
We appreciate that report, Birikisu. More such, if you please. Please hear this. You will agree with me that most of the crime suspects paraded by the police across the country are young, able-bodied men and sometimes women in their late teens, early 20s and 30s. They engage in all kinds of criminal activities. In Lagos, for instance, the current trend is kidnapping. The most recent case is that of a woman who was kidnapped by a gang of young men. The good news is that she has been rescued, but why are so many young people involved in violent crimes in this country, and what are the implications? As we ponder on that, Musa Toliat brings us this report on the latest known kidnap case in Lagos.
We just saw a golf car, black. So one lefty man came out of that car with gun, long gun like this, and all the occupants of the car came out. Say, oh yeah, come, just bundle me inside that black Golf. I said, what is it? What is it? Say, Mama, sit down. Say, where's your phone? Say, now, who do you want to call? I say, for what? And I say, because we will not leave you until you give us money.
That was the 52-year-old kidnapped victim who was rescued from the den of kidnappers in Ekpe by officers of the Lagos State Police Command. The woman had been kidnapped 5 days earlier from the Lekki axis of Victoria Island. Her 5-day ordeal in the hands of the kidnappers came to an end when the operatives of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad swooped on them. The kidnappers had demanded for 3 million naira ransom, which the victim's family had agreed to pay. But at the point of collecting the money, the police surfaced.
One of the kidnappers came out to collect the ransom, unknowingly that some of my decoy teams were there, led by the OC SARS. They were able to have a kind of exchange of gunshots. This led to the leader of the gang sustaining injuries in his attempt to collect this 3 billion ransom. He eventually led the SARS team to where other members of the gangs were and where the victim is being kept, right inside the bush.
The 3 surviving members of the gang are by any standard youths in their 20s. Police records show that most of the criminals arrested fall within this age bracket, a situation the police say is worrisome. This automatically leads to the question, why would anyone, especially youths in the prime of their lives, engage in criminal activities?
The 100,000, the 165,000.
So actually, I make use of them for my school.
Is your parents not sponsoring? Are they not the ones?
Yeah, they won't sponsor me, but they're not financially okay.
I do wiring and I do painting.
What do you do?
I drive.
I was teaching when I was coming back from school. So I was having a financial, challenge then. So I have to okay, let me go and meet him. Since this guy is a bit okay, maybe he can help me out.
No matter the reason, delinquent behavior is not acceptable. After all, people say there are countless lawful ways of making ends meet. Accepting the fact that they are a huge disappointment to their families and the nation, these kidnappers obviously know right from wrong, going by the words of wisdom they have for the criminally minded.
They should be careful of kind of friends they move with, because the guy I've known him from my childhood. We used to play ball together.
I am also feeling bad in me here. I don't expect my life to be like this.
I believe that God, no reason why I suffer this life, so I will know that there is God.
Crime does not pay, hard work does. We hope our young people are watching. The police in Abeokuta are worried. The cause of their worry is an aged man who passed on in December last year. His remains are still in the hospital. This is because nobody, family or friend, has turned up to claim the body. His neighbors said the man was a loner. Though friendly, no one ever visited him. Now that he's dead, the police is hopeful that someone will show up for him, or does he not have a family at all? Hakim Jimo reports.
You wonder what NTA News is doing in this jungle. It is no other than the story of an aged man, Samuel Kehinde, who passed on recently. He is popularly called Master Mango. 80-year-old late Samuel Kehinde lived in this neighborhood for over 40 years. He neither had a friend nor an enemy and was said to be a man that minded his business.
Myself, I was, by May 25, I'll be 25 years here. By May 25 this year, I'll be 25 years here. I don't see anybody with me.
This property, located at 17 and 20 Yidi Road, Surulere, Adigbe, Abeokuta, belonged to him. The paintings and inscriptions on the wall of his property indicated that he was a craftsman. He was said to have did the artworks alone. A community leader in the area, Alhaji Abdurrahman Kayode, stated that late Kehinde also molded and sewed blocks, built the walls and mounted the gates to his property through personal efforts.
I don't know anybody with him. He said, just leave alone. And once he was doing meeting with us, but later he just abandoned us.
According to him, late Kehinde rode this bicycle to several parts of the metropolis, including Pasheke, where he sold mango to people. He was reported to have slumped in one of such expeditions to Pansheke on the 6th of December 2014. While confirming this, the police public relations officer in the state, Mr. Muyiwa Adejobi, noted that the property will be converted for public use if no member of Baba Mango show up.
To take charge of this mini jungle here or the compound, we cannot leave this place idle or fallow, so that hoodlums will not judge the place and turn it to their hideouts.
The PPRO appealed to the general public with any useful information on how to locate any family member of late Master Mango to contact the nearest police station.
The community chairman has spoken to people. We have been asking them questions, and they have said, well, the man hardly related with anybody. So it's just somebody they used to manage in the community before he died. So nobody has any reasonable or relevant information about him outside this piece of information I've given to you.
Late Kehinde was said to have been a Christian in the early days of his life.
We shall follow up on that as soon as new information comes. It is on a sporting note that Newsline will end tonight, but before we introduce our sports reports, let's take our last commercial break on the program.
Win every minute of every match. Text UCL, your unique code, name, age, and location to 20822.
Close Up, Nigeria's #1 selling toothpaste, now in a new look.
Win every minute of every match. Text UCL, your unique code, name, age, and location to 20822.
Exotic land of rainbow, a giant in the sun, rich in human and natural resources, a land of cultural diversity for tourists' appreciation. Nigeria occupies 766 square kilometers, accommodating over 250 indigenous languages. It is a wonderful environment for leisure and business. Nigeria, land of milk and honey, a paradise for tourists.
Win every minute of every match. Text UCL, your unique code, name, age, and location to 20822.
Welcome back. During the week in Lagos, MTN Nigeria organized a golf tournament for a category of subscribers to its network. MTN says it will not relent in its commitment to providing all-round satisfaction to all categories of its subscribers. Before the golf tournament, however, the organization hosted the contestants, other subscribers and friends to dinner. But who emerged winner at the tournament and what was the star prize? Let's find out.
Management of MTN says it invited some of its high-valued customers who are amateur golfers for the one-day tournament to appreciate their years of patronage of the brand.
MTN believes in relationship, is one of our core values. Golf gives us an opportunity to connect with a lot of our high-value customers. It also gives us an opportunity to connect with other partners and other friends of the organization. And by its very nature, it's a game that is also growing in terms of popularity. So this is also something that we're quite interested in, to promote the game of golf.
The MTN Golf Tournament provided the participants the opportunity to showcase their golfing prowess and win some bragging rights.
It's a rallying point where people who want to really show their ability in the game of golf come together to express themselves. The game of golf is all exercising game. You exercise your brain because you have to watch this little ball very, very, very carefully and closely before you can hit it.
MTN says its sponsorship of the tournament will further strengthen brand affinity amongst top customers because participation affords them the opportunity to network.
Them reaching out to their customers, to players, and having a one-on-one rather than a third-party arrangement.
About 40 amateur golfers featured at the tournament, which was in 4 categories. The winners, Toyi Martins, in the women's category, and Marsha Morgan in the men, won an all-expense-paid trip to South Africa.
Still on sports, it is a foregone conclusion that all manner of sports have the ability to unite any nation. On Today in Sports, however, Adjola Omokivi brings us another unique attribute of sports which the Nigerian in this report has used to showcase the nation's tourism potential and highlights its cultural heritage.
Today in sports.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
You may have come across him wearing this very attire running the streets of Lagos. What exactly is he trying to achieve?
Creating awareness for the World Rapper Marathon. What's the World Rapper Marathon? I want to see people, it's a dream I've had for some years, run in Nigeria with rapper like this. When I started running like this, I was almost disqualified at the Bucharest International Marathon because I came like this.
45-year-old Ajaro David Obaro from Delta State has a vision for creating a rapper marathon race to showcase the rich tourism culture through sports and use the proceeds from the race to assist the less privileged. He has taken part in 9 marathons dressed in the attire. At the 21-kilometer Bucharest International Marathon in Romania, he won the best dressed costume.
I'm the only person in the world that runs like this since 2010. I've been participating in marathons outside Nigeria like this. I promote Nigerian culture. I'm proud of this flag and I want to keep holding this flag very high. I'm the world rapper man, the man with the record, the world record of the longest flowing rapper in the world.
Ajaro, a chef and photographer turned marathoner, says,
I did science and cooking with Harvard University. I did child nutrition in Stanford University.
Ajaro left Lagos Wednesday, running to Edo North to participate in the 10-kilometer Okpekpe Road race.
I'm fit to the glory of God. I enjoy divine health. I'm not going to dehydrate myself. I'm going to do all I need to do and what will keep me going.
Ajaro Obaro, married with children, plans to leave a lasting legacy running with bundles of rapper.
In sports.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
And this is all we shall offer you tonight. More to come, but till Sunday next week, God willing. Thanks for being such great company. Good night and